Hi, and welcome to Fresh to Frozen and Back. I'm your host, Diane Hendricks. This show is going to make your life easier. In each episode, I show you how to prepare delicious and healthy meals, freeze them properly, and then bring them back to the table at another time. It's super simple, and you're absolutely going to love it. In this episode, I'm going to share 4 of my culinary concoctions. These are recipes that will be an amazing addition as an accompaniment to proteins. You can toss them into pastas and grains. The possibilities are endless. And first up, applesauce. I don't know if you even know how simple it is to make applesauce at home. You're in control of all the sugar, and it's so good. Here's all you do. You're gonna take your apples, and this is the way I do it to get the core out. You go straight down the middle, cut side up, and then go at a 45-degree angle and just get the core out. Simple as that. One more, and then I'll do this guy. And you can use any type of apples that you like. It really doesn't matter. I use an assortment of apples quite often, so it makes no difference. Honeycrisp are great, but they're really expensive, so I wouldn't use them. I would save them for munching on. So once you have them all cored, you're just gonna take them and put them into a pan. And here, I had cut these already. And these had a little bit of lemon juice on them so they didn't get brown, but that's good because that little bit of lemon adds a little, I don't know what to it, and it's really yummy. So we're gonna turn on the stove and we're gonna crank this guy up to high. Put them in the pan, and then you're going to add, I use apple cider, you can use apple juice, you can also add a little bit of water, and it's just a tiny bit. So we're just gonna add a tiny bit of apple cider and a hit of cinnamon, and a little bit of honey. You don't have to use the honey if you don't want because the apples are sweet, but it really makes it, it gives it a little extra delicious sweetness. So just a little, this is just drizzling out. So I think in this whole thing, that was about a tablespoon. It's as simple as that. I don't even peel these apples, which is great because you're getting all that fiber, and I'm gonna use an immersion blender to blend them up once they're cooked. So just put the lid on, and let them cook until they get nice and soft, and then we're gonna use that immersion blender. So I'm gonna let that cook for a second. Okay, so while that's cooking, let's make some homemade ketchup and barbecue sauce. You never would think of it. But ketchup that you buy at the store, a lot of them have really unhealthy ingredients like high fructose corn syrup. They might be too sweet. So this way you're in control and you can add any ingredients if you want it smoky or, like peppery. So here's my favorite recipe. So all this goes in a blender. You're gonna take, these are tomatoes that I have already pureed, but you can actually just toss tomatoes into the blender. This is a great thing to make when your tomatoes are kind of almost on the way out and you just don't want to just eat them right then and there. Make some ketchup. So we're going to put this into the blender, and then we're just going to add ingredients. We've got some coarsely chopped bell pepper, any color you want. I'm using red. Onion, I add quite a bit because I love onions. Whoops, we lost that guy. Let's put him right back in there. Celery. Then we are going to just add a ton of different ingredients. We have a little apple cider vinegar, which is really good. Little brown sugar, and there's where we're gonna taste and see if we wanna add more. So you always wanna start with the least amount of sugar and salt because you can always add more, you can't get it out. Dijon mustard, absolute must. We have a little clove and allspice, very powerful spice, so don't use too much. Cinnamon. All these recipes are on my website, dianehendricks.com. Some Worcestershire sauce, Worcestershire, as my dad used to say. Little low sodium soy sauce. We've got some chili powder and a little bit of molasses, which is important, and blackstrap molasses, which has all that iron in it and just such a delicious flavor. A nice strong brewed coffee. Some red hot chili flakes. And a hefty hit of black pepper. And we're gonna blend that all up. Okay, now that's all blended up, and I got so excited that I actually put the barbecue sauce ingredients in with the ketchup ingredients. So all the ingredients there makes the barbecue sauce. But to make the ketchup, you're gonna pour this in the crock pot, and you're gonna turn it on low for about 4 hours. And then you're gonna take the lid off and let it really, kind of some of the liquid evaporate so it gets a little thicker. And the longer you leave it in, the thicker it's gonna get. So you can use your own desired consistency. So again, you're gonna have to go to my website, dianehendricks.com, for the original ketchup recipe, which is just minus the Worcestershire sauce, the molasses, the coffee, the soy sauce, and a little bit of the cinnamon, and that's it. So once it's done cooking, you can put it in a jar and you can stick it in your refrigerator, and it keeps in your fridge for like 3 weeks, and then you can freeze it, and I'll show you how to do that later. When we come back, we are going to make chimichurri and a pineapple mango salsa using Don Pancho tortillas. Okay, so let's blend up this applesauce. It's so easy. I'm gonna turn off the stove, and you'll see that all these apples are nice and soft. Come on in here and take a look. These apples are nice and soft. You can actually pierce the skins with a rubber spatula. So these are ready to go, and this is all you do. You take your immersion blender, one of my favorite tools in the kitchen. All you're gonna do is you're gonna hold to the side of the pan, and you're gonna tip it forward, so you're going to push down with the immersion blender and just keep going. You're gonna get splatters, there's no way around it. But you'll see once it starts going, it starts to blend up really beautifully. You can see it already. And I love the fact that the skins are on here. You don't have to peel it, it makes it easier. What's also delicious is to add some peach or mango or any of your favorite fruits. See that? Just gonna take a minute once we get this all blended in there. And that's it. So let me just blend this up. Okay, now all the apples are blended, so this is where you can make the decision to stop here where it's slightly chunky, or you can puree it completely, really, really smooth. I like a little bit of chunks. So that's it for me. That's it. And then the beauty is that you can add more cinnamon, you can add some ginger, some nutmeg, anything that you want. You can add some more sugar. I've got some nice little chunks here. Oh gosh, it's so good. Okay, now look at that. Look at that. I think I had maybe 8 really tiny little apples, and you get this whole beautiful applesauce where you can add another pinch of cinnamon or whatever you like. And I'm gonna show you how to freeze it. It freezes great. You just stick it in a container and you're good to go. Okay, now that's it. Now let's make some chimichurri. Traditional Argentinian condiment, so simple. It's just a bunch of stuff mixed together, but it's pure deliciousness. Peppers, red bell peppers here. I like it with poblano peppers as well, which is delicious. We have some green bell peppers, some celery, coarse black pepper, salt, some parsley, cilantro, a little bit of dried oregano. I love dried oregano. And a hit of red pepper flakes. That's optional, depends on how hot you like it. Some onion. Again, I already told you how much I love onion. And we're gonna stir that up first. Oh, look at that. Look at all that color. Now we're gonna need some garlic, but this isn't chopped, so I'm just gonna chop this up real quickly. So we're just gonna do some quickly chopped garlic. And when you're chopping garlic, you wanna make sure that you cut it up really small, because you don't want big chunks of garlic in this. And another key with this dish is to have everything relatively the same size. It is so good. You can toss this into grains. I'm gonna pour it on top of a strip steak that is so So delicious. Tofu, fish, the possibilities are endless, even with chips, tortilla chips, like Don Pancho's, which I'm gonna use in a minute. Okay, so let's add that garlic in there. You can't have it without garlic. And then you just stir that up. So now we have all of these ingredients mixed together. So now we're gonna add a little rice wine vinegar. You can use red wine vinegar, but I like the softness of the rice wine vinegar. Even white balsamic is real nice with this as well. And then olive oil. The olive oil is the key. You really want it a little bit extra than I would normally use, but you gotta realize you're not using a ton of this. So we've got extra virgin olive oil, really high quality. And I can tell you want everything saturated in the oil when you're making chimichurri. It smells amazing. That's it. And then the longer that sits, the flavors all meld together. So I would let this sit at room temperature for about a half an hour or an hour before you're gonna use it. And this is one of my favorite ways to serve it. You're gonna take it, you're gonna make either a strip steak or some chicken, and you're just gonna dump it on top. It is so delicious. Look at all that color and deliciousness. So good. When we come back, I'm gonna show you my pineapple mango salsa and all the different ways you can use it. Okay, last but definitely not least, pineapple mango salsa. It's one of my favorite combinations in salsa. But if you don't like mangoes or you don't like pineapple, use anything. You can use oranges, you can use anything that you like. But this is one of my favorite combinations. And it's really easy. We've got cucumber, which I love in salsa. It gives it a nice crunch. Tomatoes, very ripe tomatoes are always sweeter. Mangoes, chopped nice and fine. Pineapple, so good. Red onion, which you can go a little or a lot. Red onions are really strong. I use Vidalia sweet onions quite often, but red onions are a little bit stronger, so just be careful with that. Cilantro, which I love. I can never get enough. My mother hates cilantro. People have a love-hate relationship with cilantro. You either love it or you hate it. Some people feel like it tastes like dirt, but I love it. I can't get enough. Lime juice, key. Some extra virgin olive oil. How easy is this? A pinch of pepper, hefty pinch of salt, and you've got yourself an amazing salsa. Then you're gonna mix this all up. Look at that. It kind of looks like the chimichurri that we just made, but completely different flavors, completely different. Okay, now we have that, and this is great with chips or, you know, in tacos like I'm gonna make right now, but you can use it as a condiment for anything. It makes a great bed for protein, like in the summer, grilled protein, but this is good even throughout the winter. So, now, I made these tacos, which is shredded chicken, and I'm using Don Pancho tortillas. Don Pancho was founded 40 years ago by the Puentes family with the goal of bringing authentic Mexican foods to everyone in the U.S. They're all about family traditions at Don Pancho, bringing families together around the dinner table with delicious food. They're great for traditional Mexican recipes with authentic flavors using premium ingredients. They offer organic and non-GMO lines of tortillas and on trend with street tacos and flavored wraps. So here I'm using the street taco flour tortillas. They also have a golden blended street taco tortillas, and they're nice. It's a perfect little size. Before I found these tortillas, I used to take a ring mold and use an entire tortilla and ring mold them to make these small ones, but these are so handy and so good. Okay, and all you do is you take some shredded chicken, whoops, and put it on the bottom of the taco. Then I'm gonna add some shredded cabbage. You can use anything that you like. One time I didn't have any cabbage, so I just used celery leaves, and that was absolutely fantastic. Take the salsa, plop it on the top, a little extra squeeze of lime juice, and you've got yourself a delicious taco. When we come back, I'm gonna show you real quickly how everything was frozen. Okay, so super simple. This is the barbecue sauce. You just pour it in a container. Same thing with the applesauce. You label it, put a little bit of masking tape, you label it and date it. And for the chimichurri and the salsa, you do the same thing. You just put it in a container, leave a little room at the top in case there's any expansion, and then you just flop the lid right on it, Stick it in the freezer, labeled and dated, and you're good to go. You can bring all this back to the table at a later date. Thanks for watching Fresh to Frozen and Back. I'm Diane Hendricks. Please share this episode with your friends and those that you love. Follow me on social media. Check out my website, dianehendricks.com, and I'll see you next time.